Hi there. I say let's build an AI agent. Um, you will probably will be wondering what is an AI agent, no? And I like using these definitions, or I like like paying attention to these definitions, which are somewhat official. Obviously, there's not an official definition of an AI agent. These seem to be somewhat official, and they're quite recent too, so they're not too outdated. One is coming from IBM, and its AI agents are compound AI systems where an LLM is in charge of the control logic. The control logic is what the software will do, and the LLM is in charge in the sense of decides we're going to do this or we're going to do that. And by compound AI systems, what they mean is that it's not just a call to an LLM; it's rather an LLM that is connected maybe to another LLM or maybe to a database, or in that sense. And more recently, Hugging Face has put out this introduction to agents in which they have this maybe even broader definition, or it's also quite similar. It's AI agents are programs, so software where LLM outputs control the workflow. The workflow is it's a synonym here of the control logic in the other definition. So basically, the LLM controls what to do, as we were saying earlier. Now, and maybe an even simpler definition that I like to use when introducing the topic is that an AI agent is an AI that does stuff. So previously we had AI which writes stuff, which is the LLMs, they write stuff, and an AI agent does stuff. Now, what do you need for an AI to do stuff? You need it to be a little bit more intelligent than just to write stuff, because it needs to plan and follow some steps. And then you need to give it some tools, because as much as it can plan, if it doesn't have some tools, it won't be able to do anything. So an AI agent is an AI that does stuff. Okay, let's look at some examples of well, what can we do that is useful to do with an AI agent? And I like these two sets of examples because one of them is examples being built with a framework. A framework is like a library of code that is pre-made for us to work with, and something else is with no code tools. So basically, with a web app that you access and you build your agent, and then you launch it. So um, with a framework, the example is coming from Llama Index, and in this post, also very recent, from January, they expose some examples of how you can use Llama Index, which is the framework, to with code build an agent. And here they have some examples. One of them is invoice processing workflow. As you can see, invoice processing workflow is one of the examples. And I like the fact that I have found an example for the same case, which is email invoice processing, same as invoice processing, to do with the no code tools. All these examples are coming from a no code tool, which is called Gumloop. And this is an example of how to build such an agent with a no code tool, which is Gumloop. We also have another tool, which is MISA, the KPU from MISA, which we will be using at the later stage too. So for today, I thought let's make the easier step with this no code tool, and let's try to build an email invoicing processing agent. That we will later be able to do it with a framework so that we can compare. But today, let's start with the easy one, and let's start with the no code tool. So we're being presented this one as an example. It's saying I built a cloud power receive bot on a 50-minute demo call last month. Customer let us know that it handled 1,000 invoices across their business since then. And so basically, it's going to auto detect any invoice email. It's going to rename it and upload attachments, and it's going to categorize and extract all the info to Google Sheets, and it's going to text me, I guess. So basically, here we have the example for Gumloop. I see that it's called pipeline here, and then workbook pipeline, several concepts here. I already have my account, but if I didn't have it, it would be super easy to log in. And then I see here on the bottom, this is my first time doing it, so you're getting a fresh view of how this is done. I'm getting watch for invoice emails, then a second section which is process invoice, and a third section which is extract and catalog data. Well, it's a bit complex. I didn't expect it to be this complex. So just going back a bit to what we were promised, we're saying it's going to auto detect any invoice, it's going to rename and upload to Google Drive, and it's going to categorize and extract the info to Google Sheets, and it's going to text. So I guess this tab corresponds to that first step. Watch for invoice emails is detect any invoice email. So let's see what we have here. This is all pre-made, and that's why I don't need to make it. If I had to do this by scratch, it probably would be much harder for me. I don't know if there is any like auto generate option. So we have one option, which is Gmail Reader. It's telling me here that I need some credentials, obviously. But before I connect it, or even before I run it, let me just try to understand how this whole thing works, and just to get a sense. So basically, it's pulling the email, the subject, and the attached files. The subject and the body is combining them in one piece of text here. And then I have an if or else. And then basically, it's saying if else, if the text contains invoice. As a reminder, this is from the subject and the body. So it's combining the subject and the body and then putting it through this one. And here there is an AI categorizer. And it says expand the categorizer node to update the prompt descriptions according to your needs. So basically, if it's an invoice, it's going to the if part. And here we have error shield to catch some errors. And a sub processing here. I don't know what that is. Okay. Then the output goes. I don't know what that is. So basically, if it's an invoice, it's coming this way. And I don't know what else is going on. But basically, if it's an email, it's going this way. And if it's not an email, we have an action here to combine text, and it says not an invoice. And then I don't know what else. Okay, so I don't know. All that I got is that here's the phone number thing. It says here, make sure to add your phone number. Okay. But all in all, the core of this one is that it's taking this Gmail, it's combining the body and the text. I sense that what it's doing is that it's looking for the keyword invoice somewhere in here. Yeah, but what happens if somebody sends an email just with the invoice in like a PDF and it doesn't say invoice necessarily in the subject or the body? Does this catch it? Doesn't look like it. And then basically, if it's not an invoice, it says that it's not an invoice, and if it says that it's an invoice, now I understand. So basically, if it is an invoice, it's going to kick it to another subflow. I guess that these three on the bottom are subflows. So if it is an email, it's going to the second tab, the second flow, which is process invoice. Okay, so let's go to that one. This one is a bit more complex, or like more stuff on the screen. So let's see. I'm trying to sense, like, if we end this one in here, where do we start in here? So where do we start? I don't know. So I expected something to continue from the previous one into here, but these three gray that I have here, they seem to be not the start. So I'm going to sense that it's here. Okay, so we pass the file. Okay, we have the file. We pass it through this one, which is file reader, and it supports PDF, CSV, doc, like several of them. And then if error, it's going somewhere here. And then if not error, what it's doing, it's extracting the vendor name and the date. And with that data, it's going to take it to Google Drive. And then And then some other stuff is going on here, some other stuff is going on here, and some other stuff is going on here. But basically, the key parts of the flow is that in this one, it's reading the file that was coming from the previous, what do they call it, subflow. It was coming from the previous, it reads the file and it extracts, now it extracts several things, and then we connect with Google Drive to upload something to Google Drive. And then we also have this one, which is extract and catalog data, and it jumps to the next subflow. So in the next subflow, what we have is that we define which data we want to extract, like the vendor, the amount, the date, and we can increase it. And then we have those. Oh, I see. And then with those, what we do is that we plug it into a Google Sheet, and we probably can select a specific sheet. And then we also have that thing, which is the send SMS notification. And the phone number, if I got it right, came all the way from the first one, from here. I don't know why, but basically this one is like, so it's putting all those into Google Sheets. So basically, that's to recap a bit, and I know that there's many things that I left behind, but with this one, it's going to know that an email arrived. It's going to understand if it's an invoice, no, based on some keywords. It's going to understand if it's an invoice, and if it's an invoice, it's going to process it. Processing, what does it mean? What it means, like putting that PDF or that document with the invoice and extracting basically no. Process invoice is at a first step uploading into Google Drive, and as a next step sending to the next one, which is purely the processing of the invoice, which is passing it, like getting specific values of it and then uploading to Google Sheets. I sense that there is a few things to configure, so I'm not going to bore you with those. I'm not going to do it right now, but instead let's look at this video that we had, in which it was summarized basically what the experience would be once you have all of these configured. So let's see. So we have received an invoice, and it's going to upload it to Google Drive, and then it's going to add those values that we wanted to add, like the vendor, the amount, the currency, and the link to the upload that we have done in here. Right? So this is a loop. So it arrived, and then it ran. I assume that it's automatically, no? That basically anytime that, so going back to the first step, it's just automated, no? You don't need to trigger. It says activate as flow trigger, no? So I assume that you can configure it in an automated way, so that you don't need to run it every time, even though in this example it was showing us as if it runs, one by one, but I assume you can configure it automatically. Then it uploads the file to your Google Drive, you have it there, and then for a specific Google Sheet that you have defined, it uploads those specific attributes. Now, I wonder a couple things. I wonder what happens if your email is not Gmail. I don't know, like if you have like an enterprise email, like you have Outlook in your company, like can you also connect it? In here, let me just do a quick check if I can. So email, Gmail, Outlook. Okay, so there's Outlook here. So I assume that we would be able to just change that instead of Gmail, Outlook. And the second one, I wonder if there is like an easier way to do this, because this for me, or at least with the knowledge that I have so far, wouldn't have been a 15-minute effort. And this was with the no-code tool. I cannot imagine what it would have been, which we will do it. We will do this one on a separate time. We will go through the code solution of how we will do this with code. So yeah, please keep posted. I will be following the other processes at some other point. Thank you for watching, and if you like this setup that I have with the camera and so on, know that you have this link, and you can just copy my setup. You can use this thing, which is just a basic Chrome extension called Sidecam. You can open your cam on the side and just do this kind of computer setting. Thank you for watching. Bye.